Hi everyone, it's Robin from Beautifully Wonder and welcome back to another video. So I'm a huge believer that it doesn't matter where you are, your eyes are your most valuable part of your kit, and it's just how you produce or make those images. Now I mentioned this in another video, but I love travel photography. I love landscapes and architecture and bodies of water and thick forests and colors, and I live here in Northern Alberta, Fort McMurray to be exact, and there isn't a ton of those places that really align with my photography style. So I wanted to have a little chat today and shed some light on how to photograph in boring locations and how to find that inspiration. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So today is really not an ideal day to do any sort of photography. It is pouring outside. I'm not sure if you could kind of hear in the introduction all of the rain. I was going to go to Borealis Park to film this video, except for the walk was just a little too far. So I've pulled into Mac Island parking lot and I'm just going to go for a walk down the street and take you along with me film this video. So I've got 5 tips for you on how to photograph in boring locations. And I'm gonna save my favorite tip for last, so stay tuned and keep watching. Alright, so it's still raining outside, but like I said, I'm at Mac Island, and when you drive into Mac Island, there's these really pretty trees that line the road as you come in. So this leads me into my very first tip, which is looking for details, patterns, or textures when you're trying to photograph in boring locations. My second tip for you is to look for any sort of leading lines. As you can see here, I really like how there's these green trees that are lining this side, and then these pink trees lining this side, and then it's brown, green, and then there's this pathway in the middle here. So I really like the lines that are in this image here. So when you're photographing in boring locations, look for any sort of leading line. Alright, so I was filming this video at Mac Island, however it started to pour really hard, and as much as they say the Olympus system is weatherproof, I really don't think I should attempt it, so I'm gonna finish this video from the comforts of home. So while I was there, I gave you my first 2 tips, which were to look for any detailed patterns or textures, as well leading lines. My third tip for you is to look for any pops of color that you can fill the frame with. So right now in Fort McMurray, we've been getting tons and tons of rain, so it's making all of the greenery really lush in color, so it's not that hard to find. But what I like to do is I like to look for any pops of color that I can fill the frame with. My fourth tip for you is to change your perspective. So what I'll do is sometimes I'll just take a boring old photo from eye level, and then I'll go in and I'll change my perspective. So I'll get low, I'll get high, and I'll change my angle, and you would be surprised how much this transforms an image, especially if there's any sort of texture on the ground like rocks or wood. Then I'd like to get low, and it just creates a much more interesting photo. My last tip for you, which is my absolute favorite, I use it every single time I go out, and that is framing your subject with foreground blur. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna set a really wide aperture and you're gonna shoot through something, whether that's a plant, a tree, a flower, while also framing your subject, and it just produces like a really unique image. And like I said, it's my absolute favorite composition technique, and if you haven't tried it, then you definitely should. So those are my 5 tips on how to photograph in boring locations. If you like this video, please hit that like button below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, as well check out Beautifully Wonder on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video.